ready. Welcome everyone. It is Monday morning, a holiday, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful outside. Well, I'm just going to get us started here, and as people join, they can join. I'm hoping everybody's feeling pretty good today. We're going to move a little bit, but as always, listen to your body, give yourself the options that make sense for you. And if you haven't met me before, I'm Shannon, so welcome. And we're gonna flow a little bit today. We're gonna add in some extra little fun pieces. But again, really just checking in with your body and what you need, okay? So we'll start in a tall seat. When you're ready, taking a couple clearing breaths if you need here. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can soften your gaze perhaps, or maybe close your eyes if that feels okay for you right now. And tune into your breath, connect into your breathing. You could lengthen both your inhale and exhale. You could make your exhale a little longer than your inhale if you like. Or you might want to draw your navel towards your spine as you breathe at the bottom of your exhale. Excuse me. Emptying out your lungs. If you're distracted by thoughts, allow yourself to come back to your breathing or counting as you breathe to bring your awareness into the present moment. If you have an intention or something in mind that you'd like, some kind of energy you'd like to draw towards you, start to bring that into your awareness now. And for these next couple breaths, perhaps lengthening through your spine, and at the same time noticing your connection to the ground. So if you'd like to join me, I'm going to open the practice with an Om. You're more than welcome to enjoy and listen at the same time. So when you're ready, starting with a clearing breath, deep breath in, exhale, and then inhale for Om. To open your eyes, maybe make a little bit of gentle movement here, extend out through your legs if you have had your legs crossed, and we're going to come into tabletop here to begin, or to transition. So taking a moment here to make any movement that you like. So it could be cat and cow, arching and rounding through your spine. You could potentially hang out in child's pose for a few breaths here. You can make some more dynamic movement, maybe making some big circles, bigger movement. You could also maybe extend a leg or an arm, open up the side. So make this your own movement. A little bit of space for you, whatever makes sense here. And maybe taking about 4 or 5 more breaths. And we'll take a moment in child's pose to get grounded, open up your hips maybe a little by taking your knees a bit wider. You can make this a bit more dynamic if you like as well by lifting your arms, popping up to your fingertips, or you can make this a little bit more relaxing, bringing your arms to the ground. Allow your breath to expand into the back of your body. We'll take a couple more breaths here, softening your heart towards the floor as you exhale. So just remembering that at any point that you'd like to pause, that you can come back to this form, you can make your way back here and take a moment to just connect back into your breath and just feel your body a little bit more connected to the ground, a little more grounding. So just when you're ready, taking a moment here, making your way up into downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is not something that works for you in your body in this moment today. You could stay in child's pose. You could also maybe come into a standing forward fold instead. I'm going to make a little bit of movement here, or a lot of movement for the back of my legs. So if you like, you could walk it out a little bit. Some of you might want to be lifting a leg and lowering it, or any other movement here that you'd like to make to create a bit of space for you. Maybe a couple more deep breaths here. And just when you're ready, in your own time, come into a standing forward fold on your mat by walking your hands back or stepping your feet forward, where we'll spend a few breaths here as well, just allowing a little bit more space through the back of our body. And again, some of you may want to make some movement. Some of you may just want to pause here for a moment. A couple clearing breaths. Releasing it out. You can choose to ragdoll up to stand, taking some time to roll up, or you can take one breath to rise, come up to stand. Taking your shoulders back and down a couple of times maybe. Take a moment to feel both feet connected to the ground here. Take your next breath in to reach your arms up overhead. So feel that length and extension here through your spine. Take another breath in here and then exhale, let's fold forward. You place your hands on your shins or on blocks if you have them, lengthening your heart forward, lift up about halfway on your in-breath. Exhale, fold back in. I'm going to do that a couple more times, giving yourself a little bit more space in the back of our bodies, pressing your sit bones back as you inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold in. One more time, breath in and exhale. And then maybe hands to your hips. This time, rise to stand, reach your arms up, and exhale, hands to heart center. Welcome everybody, good morning, hello, nice to see you. If you're just joining us, giving yourself a little bit of warm up, a little bit of movement, and then joining us where we are. Take a breath in here, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center, this time sitting your hips back and down. So we're coming into chair pose. Tailbone draws down a little bit, lower belly draws in. You can pause here, hands at your hips or hands at your heart. You can even bring your hands to your legs if you like, or extend your arms up. And sitting down into chair pose, shoulders back. Couple big breaths here. And when your next exhale comes, let's fold forward again, exhale, and lift up halfway, inhale. Now I'm going to step my left foot back, starting in a low lunge. You could take a high lunge if you like. Back knee comes down to a block or to the ground. When you're here, you could pause, arms beside you, hands on your hips, or you could take your arms up overhead. And we're going to pause here for a few breaths, so making any little adjustments as you like. You can always adjust where your arms are in space. Okay, a couple clearing breaths if you need. And when your next exhale comes, let's bring our hands down for a moment. Begin to straighten out your front leg. Maybe move your back knee back. Let's lift the bottom of our foot. Let's get a little bit more space in the back of our leg here. A couple more breaths. Maybe fold in over your leg if you have that capacity already today. And then we're going to bend back in, maybe bring your back knee forward a bit. We're going to step into down dog, but you're welcome to move to child's pose or tabletop. Now I'm going to add in vinyasa here, but you can pause where you're at. So coming forward to plank, knees up or knees down, lowering down, and finding cobra. So a little low cobra perhaps here. Couple breaths. And normally we move just through our breath, one inhale and exhale at a time, but feel free to pause at any point. If you'd like to take child's pose here, you could. We're moving back to down dog. And then from down dogs or tabletop, stepping your left foot forward. In any way it makes sense to get your leg forward. I'm coming back into low lunge. So you may be coming into high lunge, that's okay too. Hello, welcome everybody. Any arm variation, so you have your arms beside you, have your arms up overhead, hands on your hips, hands at heart center. Connecting to your breath. When you're ready, hands come down. Again, maybe moving your back knee back a little bit so you can straighten out your front leg, lift the bottom of your foot. Just moving your back knee back helps you not right on, the pressure's not right on your knee. Couple breaths here. Clearing breaths if you need. A little bit of space in the back of our legs. Well, I need it. I don't know about you, but really, really needing some space here. So here today we're going to step forward on this one any way that makes sense. Fold in. Maybe take a halfway lift here to lengthen. Take a breath in here and then exhale. Fold yourself back in. And then we're going to rise to stand here. Hands to heart center. Take a moment to pause in mountain pose. Okay, so we're going to come into chair pose again. I don't always teach chair pose, but so you can skip it if you don't like it. You can skip any of this if you don't like it. You can just hang out and watch me. As far as I know, you're just sitting there drinking your coffee watching this. All right, chair pose when you're ready. Hands can be at your heart or on your hips, belly drawing in. It's the only thing about Facebook Live, you can't see other people. If I'm on Zoom, I could just see you hanging out there, having your morning coffee. Take a deep breath in here and then exhale, forward fold. Take a breath in, lift up halfway. Now let's step our right foot back. Now I'm going to stay up in high lunge this time, but feel free to be in a low lunge. I'm going to take this into a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to actually walk my left foot a bit wider. So hand can be on your hip, or you can extend your arm up here. Connecting to your breath. Now I'm going to place my back knee down for a moment. I'm going to take a thigh stretch. Now, I recommend this only if you can safely grab your foot. So I actually need to come out a bit, grab my foot, but I need to come back in. So if you can't come back in, just forget this part. Just taking the twist. Couple more breaths. When you're ready, hands come down and let's step to downward facing dog. Now you can come to child's pose, you can stay in down dog, or you can move through vinyasas, your choice. And then we're going to step our right foot forward here. So I started in the twist, high or low lunge, your choice here. Now, if you took the thigh stretch last time, placing your back knee to the ground, grabbing a hold of your foot. Maybe this side feels different, so just checking in here. And when you're ready to release that side, we're going to step forward. Take a forward fold here. Take a moment to take a couple breaths in your forward fold. If you know toe lock, you can grab a hold of your big toes and find a little bit of a deeper fold here. And when you're ready, lifting up halfway, inhale, exhale, fold. I'm going to take a nice slow ragdoll up to stand, but feel free to take one breath to come up. Nice. All right. Okay, so starting with your right foot forward, stepping your left foot back, we're coming into warrior one. So try to keep your back heel planted, toes pointing on an angle to the side forward. A little bit more forward, bend into your front knee here. Now, lots of options. I'm gonna maybe take goddess arms here, a little bit of a heart opener. Feeling the rooting of your legs and feet. Maybe a little bit of a drawing in through your core. Arms extend open or up, or hands can stay on your hips. Breath. When you're ready, we're going to straighten our front leg. If you need to take a little bit of a shorter stride, you can. Pyramid pose. So for those of you with blocks, you can bring your hands to blocks here on either side of your front foot, or hands to the floor, folding in. Again, getting into the back of our legs. So really feeling this connection. You can make some little micro adjustments or movements, maybe taking your right hip back a bit, maybe moving your sit bones back a little bit, or folding in a bit more. Now, we're going to start to walk forward. So either with your blocks or in hand or not with your hands, lift your back leg up, both hands on the ground. Try to turn your hip open to the side, like you're going to start to move towards half moon pose. Getting into your hip here. And coming back to your forward fold. Taking a clearing breath or two. And then inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand. And hands to heart center. All right, let's step our right foot back. So warrior one to start. Back heel's planted. Bend into your front knee. So you want to have your front knee over your ankle. So if your back heel's lifting, take a little bit of a shorter stride as you're ready, whatever arm variation. Right now I'm going to open up with a little bit of a bind, hands behind me, heart lifting, shoulders back. Lots of breath here. Keep the anchoring of your back heel. Bend into your front knee. Maybe find that little bit more lift through your heart if you have some space. Another breath here. When you're ready to release, straighten out your front leg. You can also adjust your stride. Let's fold forward and down. If you have blocks, you could have your hands on blocks here. If you can't quite reach the floor, there's an option here as well. Again, some little micro adjustments. Just squaring your hips by taking your left hip back, maybe folding in a bit, maybe working and moving your legs back. So feeling your sit bones move back. All right, so we're gonna lift up part way, walk our hands forward, keeping both hands down, lift your back leg, turn your toes to the side, press through your feet so you feel a bit of an opening through the front of your hip here, like you're going to come to half moon pose, but you're not quite there yet. And when you're ready, stepping both feet forward, taking a forward fold, maybe a couple clearing breaths. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's step back to down dog. Now, you can choose to move through vinyasa here if you like. You can stay in down dog. If you need a child's pose, there's an option as well. All right. Step our right foot forward. We're going to come to warrior two. Back heel comes down. Let's rise. All right. So hips are center, right in the middle of your legs here. So you're not leaning forward. I see this a lot, people leaning forward. So almost draw back through your back arm until you feel like you're in the center. You probably can't see yourself, so that's okay. Couple breaths here, arms extended maybe, settling into your front knee's over your ankle. Let's bring our backhand down, front palm faces the ceiling and then reaches back. Keep the bend in your front knee for now, shoulders back. You could straighten out your front leg here and keep moving back a bit. When you're ready, let's come to the center. Take a breath in, triangle pose, bringing your front hand to your leg or the floor or a block. Your back hand can be on your hip too, by the way. Now let's bring our hands down. Let's walk our hands around so that we're in a wide-legged forward fold. Wide legs here. Can be up on fingertips. You can lift up halfway. You could fold in. Take a couple deep breaths here. Now lift up halfway again. We're going to walk our hands around. Now we're going to prepare for half moon. So you could lift your back leg a little closer here. Walk your hands forward, lift your back leg up again, turn your toes to the side. This time maybe your hand comes to your hip as well. maybe not, okay? You could also have a block underneath your bottom hand. Shoulders back, maybe extending your top arm towards the ceiling. Feeling like your back leg's kicking back strongly. And we're gonna slowly come all the way out. If you're not there already, come to a forward fold at the front of your mat. Take a couple clearing breaths here. Take an inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Let's step back to downward dog. You could stay in down dog, you could move through vinyasa, or child's pose, your choice. All right. So this time we're going to step our left foot forward. Left foot forward, back heel down, and rising up to warrior two. Always have to do my little ninja move here to be able to still be facing the camera. So settling into warrior two, strong back leg, bending into your front knee, upper body's right in the center. Backhand comes down, front palm turns to face the ceiling. Let's lift up, maybe back. Shoulders on your back, connect to your breath. You could stay here or you could straighten out your front leg for a couple more breaths, lengthening up, maybe tipping back a bit. And then coming back through center, reaching forward, front hand comes down. Back hand can extend up or to your hip, your choice. Take a couple breaths in triangle. When you're ready, let's look down again. Hands walk around, turn both feet to the long edge of your mat. You can always use blocks here as well, or not. We're gonna fold forward, and if you'd like a little bit of opening for your shoulders, you could interlace your hands behind you, lift your knuckles towards the ceiling here, or keep your hands on the ground, your choice. Couple more breaths here. So when you're ready, lifting up about halfway again, we're going to turn towards our left foot. You could step your right foot a little closer. We're going to move towards half moon again. Hands come forward, back leg lifts up. Now from here, you could lift your right hand to your hip or both hands stay down as they were earlier. You could have your shoulders back or not. Only lifting your arm if your shoulder comes all the way back. And then connecting to your breath here. Back leg's super strong. Couple more breaths here. Or coming out whenever you're ready. And then just as you're ready, we're going to step back to the front of our mat. Come back into forward fold. Couple breaths here. Take an inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. You can choose vinyasa. You could come to child's pose. You can stay in down dog, your choice. Okay. So let's walk or step forward to the front of our mats. And I'm going to take my time in a ragdoll up to stand. You can come up with one full breath if you like. okay. So we're gonna work on a transition from one balance to another. So yeah, you can see how that works. If you need the wall or somewhere close to a stable piece of furniture, please use that as well. So I'm gonna come into dancer pose today, which is one of the most challenging poses for me. This part of my body is super tight, and so I find this really hard, but so I need to practice it. So starting on my right foot, grabbing my left foot, drawing my knee back down, finding length through my spine, shoulders back. So I'm gonna really work open chest for this, open heart for this pose today. So pressing my hand into my foot into my hand, kicking back maybe a little bit here, maybe reaching my right arm up, shoulders back. So this is about my capacity right now. I'm gonna work with my breath here. 2 more breaths. Now, I'm gonna move to standing figure 4. So placing my left foot on top of my right leg. If you come out of the balance, it's okay. And sitting down. So left foot on top of my right leg. The closer I get to sitting back and down like chair pose and folding in, the lower my center of gravity is, hopefully the easier it is to balance here. Should feel like an opening through your hip. When you're ready, we're gonna stand. If you're not there already, you shake it out a little bit. Couple clearing breaths maybe. All right, remember, one balance to the next. If you need to come out, and you just reset yourself, okay? So standing on your left foot this time, grabbing your right foot. Dancer pose, kicking back a little bit here. Maybe extending your arm, your left arm up to lift through your heart, shoulders back. Connecting to your breath. One more breath. So we're going to come back through the center. Right foot, left leg, sitting down, lowering down. Taking a moment here. The more you sit down, the more you might feel. And just as you're ready, we'll come all the way back up. Maybe shake that out a little bit. Take a moment to mountain. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Find some length through your spine. Inhale. Step back. Downward dog. You can move through vinyasa here or not. And we'll just take a couple breaths. Now I'm going to walk my hands to my feet. In any way that makes sense for you. Coming back to a forward fold. This time we're going to move into squat pose. So feet come a bit wider. You could come all the way down into squat, or you could modify your squat, elbows above your knees here. Connecting to your breath. Maybe lengthening upwards. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels okay. Now if anyone's taking arm balances, you can move into crow pose here. Taking maybe a few breaths in crow. If not, that's okay, you can hang out here. So if you're not familiar with crow, I'd really, maybe I'll do a little workshop video on it, but it's best to maybe practice this one in a space where a teacher's there to help you if you're not familiar with it. When you're ready, we're going to come back to forward fold. Maybe taking a little bit of movement over to one side. You can hold your blocks here. Moving your upper body to the other side. And coming back to the center. Lifting up halfway. Exhale, fold. And let's walk our hands back. Now we're going to come back into a lunge form. So right foot can come forward. Back knee comes back. We're going to revisit this pose. You could use your blocks here as well. Haven't been using them in this class, but you know. Now, the further you move your back knee back, you want to try to keep your hips square forward. So some of you have more capacity to find a bit more length through the space between your front foot and your back knee. As long as you can hold the shape and you don't feel like you're going to collapse. Couple more breaths. Now, we are going to bring our back knee forward if you moved it back. We're going to take a pause here. Front foot comes a bit wider and toes turn out. So we're going to move into lizard pose. Some of you have blocks, some of you don't. That's okay. Fold in. Sometimes when we move into these quieter poses, our minds start to, at least mine does. So it's an opportunity to notice your breath again, or really trying to stay present for yourself. Be in your body, maybe notice the sensation in your body. Notice where you're feeling this. Right now I feel this a lot in my back hip. So I'm just going to maybe focus my breath and my awareness into that area. Instead of sending myself somewhere else, thinking about useless things, thinking about everything that's out of my control, which is everything, instead of just being in the moment here, being present for myself, even in this uncomfortableness, which it is right now. So if you're still in the pose, like I am, you can give yourself a moment to release. You may want to make a bit of movement. You might want to sit back into child's pose. Whatever it is that you need, give yourself a few minutes, a few moments, a few breaths. So either from downward dog or tabletop, let's step our left foot forward and back knee moves back till your front leg is straight, and you can keep your hips square here. Now if you still have space, you can move your back knee back, but keeping your hips even to the front of your mat. Toes are flexing back. Again, maybe your blocks come in handy here or not. If you don't have blocks, you just connect to the floor here. So you can move a little bit here too. You can adjust how you're flexing your toes back. You could fold in a little bit more. Wherever you are, coming back to your breath here. to move our back knee forward and bend into our front knee, and at the same time, take your front foot a little wider and maybe keep your back knee just moving back. So whatever feels comfortable here. We're gonna settle into lizard pose. Some of you have blocks. You can notice that I bring my forearms down to blocks, and some of you don't. That's okay. You just can stay up on your hands. And as you come into your breath, noticing what you're feeling in your body, maybe staying connected into your breath so you're not drifting too far out with your mind. Trying to stay in your body with your breath. Stay here for a few more breaths. Try and even out that other side. I stayed in a long time. So just when you're ready, taking your time, coming out of this side. Now you can move. Sometimes I like to move and down dog or from tabletop, but today, child's pose. So choose what you need to release from that. Now, making your way, if it's comfortable to sit on your heels, come to sit on your heels for a moment. We're actually going to open up our feet and toes here, which can be really excruciating, so, but fun at the same time, right? Okay, tucking your toes under, maybe giving a little help to get your pinky toes tucked under. You could, some of you might not even be able to sit upright, and that's okay. So you could sit upright, you could sit up on a cushion or block. Now, if you don't regularly stretch or practice yoga, you may feel this a lot more. If you're a runner or if you're constantly on your feet or in high heels or whatever, you're gonna really be like, whoa. But I promise you, no, I won't promise you, but if you do this regularly, you'll notice a difference. And our feet are a foundation. I mean, I really should be doing this a whole lot more than I am right now because I'm doing a lot of walking. So if you need to come out sooner, of course, come out. I don't want you to be like in agony. I'm just kind of talking to distract us from the fact that this is not that comfortable. But regular practice will help to open up your feet. Now, I'm gonna wiggle my toes a little bit. I tend to just give my toes a little tap or shake out my feet, depending if you have people downstairs like I do. You may not wanna hit the floor too hard, or you might have your downstairs neighbors coming to see you for a visit. All right, we're gonna come onto our seats now. Just check the time. Perfect. All right. Coming to our seat, you could sit up on a block or a cushion if you have it. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold here. So coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So if you cannot sit up right here, if you're kind of leaning back like this, press into your fingertips. Sit up on something a bit higher too to lift upright. If you are like me and you can fold in, you could fold in a bit more. I'm flexing my toes. You can see my toes in the camera today. Flexing my toes back. It's just going to help me safely move into this form. So have fun. Connect to your breath. It's kind of like when we were standing, but because your legs are anchored on the ground, you have to use a little bit more of a hinge from your hips to come forward. So it might feel a lot different, and that's okay. Wherever it is that you are, connecting into your breath. Trying to relax your shoulders. If you'd like to take a twist here, you could. You don't have to. You can stay in the center. So you could bring your arm to the inside of one leg and maybe extend out through the other, or hand to your hip and just leaning towards that leg. Oh, I need I can't wait to get in to see my massage therapist. I don't know about you. Massage, or you go to chiro or physio or whatever you do. I know my body needs a little loving that I just can't give myself fully. I need a little support in my body to help me. And so I'm super excited. I've got an appointment in a couple weeks. Alright, when you're ready, coming back to the center. I personally like to windshield wiper or release my knees from side to side, but whatever works for you, give yourself a moment here. Okay. So, does anyone want to do boat pose with me today? I feel like, I don't know why I've been doing boat pose a lot, but here we are, and I just feel the need to activate my core just a little bit before coming to my seat. So you can have your hands behind you here, and lift your legs. You could have your hands behind your knees and lift your legs, or you could extend your arms out if you're not collapsing through your lower back. My core needs a little bit more activation before I'm going to be doing that, I think. A couple more breaths here. When you're ready, we're going to roll back, recline onto our backs. You could hug your knees into your chest if you like here. Maybe move a bit from side to side. If there's something else that you need, maybe a big body stretch. Now, I'm going to offer up bridge pose today. A little bit of an opening for the front of our hips after that last boat pose. So pressing into your hips to lift your hips up. And you can pause here. Some of you might want to place a block underneath your hips. It just gives a little bit more support. Some of you may want to interlace your hands underneath you, walk your shoulders in. Wherever you are in bridge, connecting to your breath here. Ready, releasing knees to chest. I'm going to take happy baby pose here, but you can feel free to knees to chest and rock a little bit. Release that, and any other release you might need in between the next pose. So we're going to come to figure four. So we did a standing figure four already today. This one reclined may feel a bit different. Starting with your left foot on top of your right leg and bringing your right knee towards your chest, or if you don't, some of you may just keep your right foot on the floor depending on how that feels. Relax your shoulders, connect back to your breath. let's release that side. You may want to find a little bit of a release from that. And then we're going to come to the other side here. So either here or maybe here. Connecting to your breath. Trying to stay present in your body. Ready, let's release that side. I'm going to give myself a big body stretch, but give yourself a release that you need, that feels good. So we'll take a twist here. Today I'm just going to venture into 2 knee twist, but any twist that you like. Any twist that feels good. Oh, that's a good release. Taking a few breaths here. When you're ready, let's return to the center, and let's take that twist to the other side. Connecting back to your breath, even trying to soften towards the floor a little bit. Trying to let go of any holding. I'm holding my knee, but I'm trying to let go of any other kind of clenching or holding that I'm doing. Ready, let's come back to the center. Let's find one more movement in the center. It could be knees to chest, could be happy baby, maybe taking bound angle for a few breaths here. It's time to prepare for Shavasana. So just giving yourself a moment to find what's going to work for you. Some people don't feel comfortable lying on their back, so I always like to give the option to maybe come into child's pose or sit up on your seat or on your side lying down. But take a moment here to settle, maybe take a couple clearing breaths, give yourself a bit of movement. And give yourself permission to let go and surrender. to deepen your breath. Make any gentle movements, any big movements, anything you need before coming out of Shavasana. You could also roll onto your side for a few breaths. When you're ready to come up to your seat, take a moment here. Maybe hands over your heart. Take a couple deep breaths of gratitude, thanking yourself for being here. I'm going to close today's practice with an Om. Start with again with a clearing breath, deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Thanks everyone. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks so much. I've been really enjoying teaching and being here for you. I'm definitely going to be here this week a couple more times and next week as well. I'm hoping in June I'll be transitioning out onto the water for stand-up paddle, just depending on what's going on out there in the world. So that might shift things for me online here. So I have saved all the videos. They are up on YouTube as well, but invite your friends, start a watch party. Let's do this thing. I'll see you on, I think, Wednesday night. Okay, take care everyone. Happy Monday.